Hello, and welcome to the Coppice Development stream. This is the second stream of an experiment I'm undertaking in showing how to design and build an indie Mac app live on Twitch. So I hope you are all doing well, and today we're going to be doing some coding, hopefully. If you were here for the last stream on Saturday, we actually did some design work for the next version of my Mac app, Coppice. So for those who may be new, I am a developer for Apple's platforms. I've been developing for them for about 17 and a half years now, doing both Mac and iOS and various other platforms. And while I spend most of my time doing contract work for others, I also build my own app. And the app I build is the app that you see here, Coppice, which is a simple Mac app that lets you not only collect your thoughts and ideas, but also link them together and build them up on an infinitely expanding canvas. And what we're working on for the next version is improving one of the two types of pages in Coppice, which is the image page. So if we switch over to the main view, I will show you what we were working on. And if anyone has any questions or comments at any point, feel free to just post them in the chat or just say hi. I'm happy to discuss anything that I go through, detail things in a bit more depth. This is really something for you to either just watch and learn, or ask questions, or just chat. So feel free to just ask anything that you want and I'll try and answer it. So what we worked on last time was designing a bunch of new functionality for image pages, because while text pages have a lot of functionality for creating your text, editing it, creating links between text, all images really let you do is add an image and add a description. So what we spent a lot of time doing is building up some additional functionality for images. Some of these are fairly simple, or at least simple to understand, such as rotating an image 90 degrees or cropping it, which is what we can see here, where when you go into crop mode, it will show these drag handles, and as you drag it down, it will darken the screen and let you just crop an image. The other thing is linking from images, which is what this shows, if I find the right image. So what I want you to be able to do is create a link from an image to something else. And this is fantastic for if you have an image and you want to have this bit that we have selected link out to another image or to a text page. Maybe you've got a map and you want different parts of the map to link out somewhere, and maybe you've got a plan of some room that you're redecorating and you want those to link out to other pages that contain details of the furniture or the paints and so on that you want. So this really helps bring Coppice to the next level and do stuff that other apps don't entirely let you do. Now for these hotspots, as well as being able to click them, you need to be able to draw them. So this is what this UI looks like, is when you're in edit mode on a hotspot. I don't believe I have. When you're not in edit mode, it will look something a bit like this, so that it highlights it a bit so that you can click on it, and clicking on it will either take you to the page or open it up and take you all the way to open another page on the canvas. In fact, I can show you that in Coppice. I open sample document. That's not the sample document. This is. So this is what Coppice looks like on the canvas, where you can click on a link and it opens them up. It remembers all the branches coming off as long as you have the root page still on. But you can link out to an image page, but you can't actually link an image page back. So that is basically the focus of the next version, is building these features. And now that we've got the designs in place, what I want to do today is actually start building some of this. We're going to start with the simpler stuff and actually work first on image rotation, and then we're going to work on hopefully cropping and implementing this functionality. Hi Dylan, welcome to the chat and welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it this time. So let's get started and look at some code, because considering this is a development stream, this is the first time I'm showing off Xcode. So this is my Xcode project for Coppice, and what we are going to do first is we need to create this inspector. Now this is a very early draft of what this looks like. I am not happy with how this looks. I also haven't created icons for here, so these icons for the hotspots are going to be for a square, a circle and a polygon hotspot. So we'll see how it evolves. I like to do rough designs, especially for stuff like this in the middle where it's a lot of custom stuff. But for placing stuff, I do it kind of rough and then go over to Xcode and actually build it all in there. So let's go and start playing around with the inspectors. So the inspectors live in the right column in Coppice, and each inspector represents a certain thing that is selected. And how the inspectors work is that an editor can say, okay, I want to add these inspectors, and then they may get added to other inspectors. So for example, I bring Coppice back up. If I go and select an image page, you can see we have page info, which is added from the fact that this is a page. An image is added from the fact that it is image content. For text, you see the same page info because it's a page, but then you get font, paragraph and link because it is a page that allows linking. If you go to a canvas and you just select the canvas, you get the canvas at the top, click on the page, and then you see page info. You now see page layout so that you can actually set the size of it on the canvas, and then you see all the same stuff down here. So what we want to do is basically, these are all self-contained things, so we want to go and look at our image editor inspector here. And at the moment this is incredibly simple. All it really shows is a box for a description, and the thing is, the description isn't even visible unless you have the inspectors visible. I am considering changing that and making it so that when you select an image, the description will actually appear above the image, or at least you can make it appear, which I think will make it a lot more useful. I would also like potentially to have it be able to link from the description, but I think we won't tackle that in this version. By the way, how does the audio sound? Because I actually tweaked the audio a bit from last time because it was dropping a few words on the last stream, and I'm still playing around with audio settings, so I want to make sure it all sounds okay for everyone. Okay, good to hear everything is okay, and welcome to the stream since there's something. Let's see you can make it. Right, let's have a play around. So what we want to do is let's move some of the layout here. Drag this up. So in this app, I'm doing pretty much entirely, it's all AppKit and auto layout. I'm not using any SwiftUI, mostly because SwiftUI, I could use it because Coppice supports macOS 10.15 and higher, but it's still rather flaky on the Mac. So hopefully when I start dropping some of the earlier versions, I can start integrating some SwiftUI, but for the most part, this is all old school AppKit auto layout. I've learnt the hard way to be a bit conservative with what I use for technology. So I want to add some buttons and a label. And what we're just going to do is just name these for now without icons. You can technically paste in SF symbols as text. Unfortunately, that does not work when you then ship the app, at least on 10.15, I believe. So rather than doing that and then forgetting I've done that, it's best to just leave these as is. Edit image. Actually, what we could probably do with doing, let's create a stack view. If we embed these in a custom view without inset, and what we're going to do is align all of these up. Not to the standard value. Let's set that to 30 points for now. That needs to be set that to 0, but what we want to do is actually make that a greater than or equal to. So when you're doing auto layout, it's always best to work in one direction, make sure you've got everything set up in one direction, and then do the next direction. So what I've done there is set it all up so they should all have leading, trailing, leading, trailing, leading, trailing, and leading, trailing. Then for something like this, what I would do is I've set this button to be top and bottom of there, and then for the rest of these, I'm going to select them all and align first baseline. So that way all the text is aligned. Now it's still showing red, but that is because it isn't placed inside of anything. So if we then go here, no, I don't want to drag that in there, drag that up there. We take the, let's name this, and we drag edit image into our stack view. Then we're all good. So we want to do the same thing here. Take off. Custom view without insets. Want top, left, and that's bottom, so we want That should hopefully be everything. Bottom height, top, and leading. Yep, so now we can name this description. Drag that in as well. There we go. Now we want this to be indented by 10, and actually no, the top and bottom need 0. So we're getting there. Let's just copy this. Yeah. And this will be hotspot. Actually, we want to tweak this slightly, because what we want is these to be left aligned. And this is one of the great powers of auto layout, is you can actually create things like this very easily across different parts of the view hierarchy. So I've just, even though they don't share the same tip view, I've just aligned these across, and then what I can do for these is right align them. And the best thing is, this works fully for localization as well. So if you localize this into another language and it turns out that hotspots is longer than edit image in a certain language, it will actually make sure everything is fully aligned there. And in theory it should also work in right to left languages as well. So the next thing we want to do is make sure all of these are aligned to the stack view, because at the moment the base just kept at whatever size is the smallest and they're just left aligned. So we want them to stretch the full width of the stack view, so we add that ourselves, and we probably want to do the same for description. Add that one in. We don't need to add the leading constraint because that is actually done up here on alignment. So I can rename this to square, circle, and polygon. And this we want to change to standard spacing. So hopefully, if we build and run, let me check that I haven't got right. Yep, so that should all be there. So when we build and run, we should hopefully see Coppice with our new UI. Select an image. There we go. All displays, and yes, I can already see an issue. Because we're limiting how small it can get. That should be fixed when we get icons in there instead. In fact, let's, as we're not going to shift this, let's make it so it looks a bit close to the sizes they will be when we actually implement this. Right. Build and run again. And go to image. That's a lot better. That looks more like what we can get. Still don't like how it looks. I'm still iffy about the hotspots being here. Maybe hotspots will be something like crop, where it's a mode. Maybe what I will end up doing is, rather than having these three options here, you click on hotspots, and then it basically in the image editor adds a little control so that you can toggle between the different types of hotspots. That might end up working better, because then it would also make all of the hotspots editable as well, rather than having to manually go in. So I might play with that, but we're probably not going to get to the hotspots today, because there's actually a lot to work out with even the image rotation, because a lot of these editing options, I want them to be non-destructive. So anything that you do, rotating, cropping, you should be able to completely undo. And also there's complexity where you need to actually, if you do that, you need to be able to rotate the hotspots, rotate the crop. So there's a lot here to actually consider. So that's why I'm starting with rotation first, because it is the simplest. But the big question is, do I actually rotate the image? I think it would probably make sense, because it's simpler. If the user takes it out of the app again, it will be rotated as they have rotated it. Oh yeah. Complexities of building software. Let's just go for rotating the image. That should be the simplest thing to do, I hope. So what we need is we're actually going to need to look at the image editor, which is actually ridiculously simple at the moment. To give you a comparison of just how underpowered images currently are, the image editor is 122 lines, and that is mostly a bunch of basic stuff. Yeah, it's mostly just menu and toolbar stuff telling you that it doesn't actually do anything. So it's like most of the code in here is to tell the user that you can't do stuff, which is kind of ironic. Compare that to the text editor. You're talking about 500 lines, because this needs to handle linking, it needs to handle validating so much more stuff. It even extends out into all these different things, actually editing fonts and paragraphs and stuff and handling lists. Text editing is incredibly complex, and I recommend people stay away from it where possible, but unfortunately most apps require text editing. So let's have a look. Because I took time off over Christmas, I haven't actually looked at the code in depth in close to 2 months now, since I shipped the last version. And I haven't looked at the image editor. I mean, when was the last time I... Yeah, I did some tweaks in October, but most of the last real work was probably October 2020 was the last time I did real work on this, so it's been well over a year since I've done a lot of work on this stuff, because other parts of the app have required it. So let's take a look here. By the way, what's everyone else who's watching up to today while you're watching the stream? Oh, learn 3D model. What are you doing that in, Sinister? Is that in Blender? Cool. And I want to try out Blender. I used to do 3D modeling when I was a lot younger, because the thing that actually got me into programming was I got a computer that came with Myst, the original Myst game, and it also had a making of, and they talked about the apps they used, and they used 2 apps to build that. One was HyperCard, which is what they did all the programming and stuff in, but the other was something called StrataVision, which was a 3D drawing package. And the thing that opened my mind to, oh, I could create something like this when I was just like 8 years old, was the fact that my dad used the exact same software at work for 3D modeling. And I got to, in quotes, borrow a copy to play around and learn 3D, but I haven't really done it since I was a teenager, so I want to get back into that and play around with Blender and experiment with 3D stuff, because it would be quite useful to get back into. So are you modeling anything in particular? And Dylan, I'm glad I can help you procrastinate from doing stuff. Oh, cool! Seen some Hollow Knight. So you're not just building some like basic characters. You're building a full environment. Then. Yeah, I've been watching others play around with it. For considering it costs nothing, it's pretty fantastic. It's just one of those that it's always seemed a bit daunting. I mean, I would have tried getting back into 3D using Strata, but I think, how much does it cost? I have an old license, but the thing is, it doesn't run anymore because they never updated it on the Mac, and you need the new version. Because the thing that Strata was always good at is that its UI was pretty much just like Adobe Creative Suite. Not identical to it, but it was similar enough that if you came from something like Photoshop or Illustrator, you could learn it a lot more easily. But how much does this cost now? Yeah, $595 for a petrol license, or $20 a month with a $50 initial license fee. So yeah, I think I'll learn Blender. for something, if it was something that I was working on full time, I'm okay paying. But for the cost of that, considering it's something more of a hobby, I'll pick up some Blender, I think. Right, so what I want to do is remind myself how on earth the text editors talk to the text inspectors talk to the text editor. Now, if I remember, I'm passing in the attribute editor, but if we have a look at the font inspector, so we've got the view model. Yeah, so we pass in a text editor, attribute editor, the base inspector view model. Title class. So this is all fairly basic. This is why you always make sure that you write your code in a way that you can come back to it and understand it, and if something's not clear, you write comments, because even in an app like this, you're probably not going to look at some things for a while and completely forget how it works. So pass the attribute editor in, and then this all ties into the attribute editor where it updates the selection. And the attribute editor talks to a text view, and that is created somewhere here because we have editor, protocol, inspectors. So this is how all the inspect stuff I was talking about works. So you can see here the text editor view controller, when that is the thing that's selected, it pulls out these three inspectors: text editor, paragraph, text editor inspector, which is technically the font, paragraph, and link. And then what it does is it goes to the parent, which would be, I believe, page content editor, which is itself an editor. And what it does is it gets its current content editor, which is either text or image, and basically adds those in with the page inspector view, and then that goes to the next level up, which I believe is nothing if you're looking at a normal page, but it may end up being a canvas page. So then it will add those in. So these all get added in, and then in the inspectors, it gets them and it actually orders them. And I believe, is it in the inspector protocol, there's a ranking that I can put in where I can tweak what order they go in. So that is how I get the canvas page inserted in below the actual page. So it's a fairly flexible system. So I mean, I added in the previous version, I added the link inspector, and all that really required from the inspector point of view was adding the view model, controller, nib. So just adding all this stuff here, adding a link thing here, and then going into text editor view controller and just adding it in here. So adding new inspectors is very easy, thankfully, and it's good. I mean, this is something that I wanted to do when building this app, is build it in a way that even if it takes a bit longer to do, I can make it extensible and build it without the same time pressures that you have on other software. I mean, there still are some time pressures, but I like to make things a bit less hectic and a bit less do things the quick way. So let's start actually doing some stuff here. So we actually have our image page content here. Now what we probably want to do is actually so we actually abstract away the content with an attribute editor here. So I think what we want to do is oh, we've got our image page content. That's the image. I can't remember if you can say no. So this is where we go and look up. How to rotate in on this image. So I'm assuming we're going to have to do some affine transforms and stuff. Affine transform. And rotation. I never knew this existed. Let's see what the documentation says. Yeah, we probably don't want this because we want to handle rotation manually because we need to rotate everything. So if it was just rotating the image, we could get away with that, but we need to rotate everything. Or rather, we need to rotate everything except for the things that we don't want to rotate, which is going to be a lot of controls. So yeah, we are going to want to just redraw the image, which now I've never actually used NSF and transform. Let's see what the docs say about it. Because most of the transforms I use are usually on core graphics or core animation. Use the affine transform. Right. Now, unfortunately, while this will be useful, it appears it does not exist on iOS. And at some point in the future, I would like to actually port the app to iOS, and I've been building it up with the theory that there will be some iOS, that a lot of the code will make it over to iOS. So what's actually going to be simpler in terms like this is have you rotate an NS image, rotate a UI image, because that almost certainly will bring up core graphics. Which it does. Now, actually thinking about it, if I do the actual work in... If I do the work in the app player, I may be able to get around this and be able to use... No, you can init with a CG image, can't you? Right, init with CG image size. You can get CD image for proposed. No, I don't need to get the CG image, I just need to draw it in the CG context, which an NS image should do. See, catching runners. years. Okay, so proposed rec can be nil. If context is nil, behaves if a window context scale by. Can you create an NS graphic? Xcode. Xcode. Why do you have to do this? You've got the stuff there. You used to be able to just command click and show them, but for some reason you decided to break that apple. Oh well. Have a gander. There we are. Graphics context with CG context. We can get the CG context there. Okay. Let's play around. Think, where is the playground? Let's just take a screenshot. Actually, but that's it. That image, and this image named link vector completion. Okay, let's use some Swift Playgrounds to test this out. So, what we want to do is image see the image. Right. Nail. There's our CG image. Right. So get our CG context equal graphics context dot current dot CG context, and then what we want to do context. Oh yeah, context dot translate by right. So we just want to do this Want to rotate around the center, don't we? We wanted to do 90 degrees. We want to do image that side. We want to the center. We want to the center of the actual image, don't we? So don't we need width divided by 2 image dot size dot height 2. The optional there because we're just testing. Do image dots. I could do CG image dot width. Let's do the CG image. Context. Rotate by. Yes, the wonderful thing, the angle in radian. Alright, so pi divided by 4 radians, I believe. Why do you actually get? There we are. And pi over 4. Context draw image, CG image in I want 0 and we want CG size with width. I think we want to swap the height and width. Yeah, I'm looking at Stack Overflow's answer and it seems like I'm doing things the other way around because I want to see why they've done it like that. Oh. Okay, that's not useful. We don't have a graphics context. Let's create a new playground. Single view playground. And put this MQ apps apps playground view playground. Happens if we do this in this playground. Failed to launch process. Couldn't communicate with a helper application. Why not? And that button doesn't work. Okay, that worked. Okay. Contact. See if we can create a CG context then, if we can't do this. Now, width, CG image dot width, height, nope, CG image dot height. It's useful when all of this. What's it complaining about? CG image dot color space. Bitmap info dot row value. Okay, so we have a context. Draw the image in. Context dot. Let image equals CG image dot make image. What does this look like? Oh yeah. 2 pi radians for a full circle, so progress. We've rotated, we're just translated wrong. So do we actually need the rotation then? Yes, we do. What do we just do by the width and the height? Nope. Definitely divide by 2. Divide by 2. You want to do negative? Nope. Okay, let's take the rotate out and see what happens. Oh. Let's just check. Yeah, so that's blank. So we draw the image. So they chop that. That shouldn't make much of a difference. Yeah, so that rotates there, and then when you rotate, we've translated up. Let's have a look. So you get your degrees. Check whether it's the same orientation, then you get a new size. And if you're rotating by 90 degrees, then you swap the height and the width, which is what I've just changed to here. Translate. Because we translate by the new size dot width, which is the old size height. Divided 2, and that divided by 2. Then you rotate, then you scale by. Why is it doing that? Context, that's scale by 1 minus 1. Okay, that flipped it. Yeah, that can't be right. So what happens if we rotate and then translate? What if we just translate by minus that? That's why we do positive. Chapter 0. What do we have here? Create a view. View and affine transform on box. Create a view just to rotate. Get a bit more, and then again the rotating. Oh, am I drawing in the wrong? Right. I see what I've missed there. So they do that, but they then do don't draw at 0, they draw at point x minus CG float image dot height by 2. If I change that to 0, that should draw the x correctly. There we go. Okay. So we multiply by 2, that should be 180 degrees. And then back to the beginning. There we go. Image rotation. With a little help from our friends at Stack Overflow. just realised I've let my cup of tea go cold, so... Right. So we don't need the scaling. So that's good, and that, given a CG image, I can do that as a rotation thing on CG image, and then that should work cross-platform. And then I can have up here be the actual image. Right, so the inspector view model gets the image page content. Now the thing is, we could just update the image on that in the inspector, but rotation needs to be something a lot more complex because it needs to then rotate all the other parts of the image. So we have that metadata. So what we're going to need is, we have the description. Rotation we don't need to store because that is simple enough, but what we do need to store is the crop rect, which that can just be insets from top left, bottom right. When we do rotation, we just rotate all those in the right direction. And then the hotspots are a bit more complex. For rectangle and circle, we can just again do the frame from the top left of the image. For a polygon, it's a bit more complex because we need to store every individual point. Now these store out to JSON, so I need to be able to actually, if I use a struct or something, I need to convert those out to JSON. Yeah, so it's best keeping the data side as simple as possible. So we will create something higher up for the inspector to actually work on. So we have we could pass in the actual inspector, couldn't we? Or rather the actual editor, but we don't do that here. Pass in the attribute editor, because that gives us the current date. Yeah, let's keep the view controller simple. Let's keep the view model simple. Does creating link. Has the side of thing. This is the fun bit of programming where you spend 90% of your time staring at the code, pondering where exactly you're going to write something. Because there are many ways of doing this, and I need to work out so the view model actually performs the editing. What would we need in here? Need right, left. We probably want mode. Be either view, be an enum that would either be view, crop, or hotspot. When that changes, the view controller would actually change to that. Because that's all the inspector's doing, and the inspector would set that and update to respect that. So all the view model is going to store is what current edit state we're in, and when we're in crop mode we could do update crop inset. And then we can do add hotspot. Right, so the mode definitely wants to be in here. What I think we are going to do is, while we have a text editor, attribute editor, we're going to have really it's an image editor, which is a terrible name. But the reason we want it is we're going to have multiple inspectors. In the view model, I suppose there's no reason why the view model can't do it. So you do add hotspot, move hotspot. which you probably won't crop. That's, and then you'd want hotspots as a property, and then you'd want a function that the link inspector would call. So the link inspector view model takes a link editor. So this would be the link editor. We'd have selected link publish, update selection with link. So then we'd just need link. Yeah, let's just do the view model for now. Stick all this stuff in the view model, and then if we need to extract it out later, we can do. So we have our image inspector, which takes the content and takes model controller. Do we actually need the model controller? I don't believe we do. Why does the text editor need the model controller? We actually use that. Don't there. Paragraph inspector. Take the model controller. Use it. No. Let's do a quick bit of tidying up. If we don't actually need to pass the model controller into these, we can get rid of it. And the model controller is effectively it is both a protocol and an implementation. So the model controller is basically just the abstract protocol for my data model stuff. So I've built up my own custom data model in Coppice because core data is kind of awkward to get working with documents. Working well with document bundles, and I didn't really want to put a dependency in, so I've built my own data model thing. So all the model controller is it provides access to all of the different model collections, so pages, canvases, and so on. Handles some undo stuff, and the actual implementation is, where are we? Coppice model controller, which actually implements all this stuff and adds some conveniences for creating, duplicating, and so on. And normally I like to pass that around because it's generally a single instance of it that gets passed around everywhere because everything needs it at some point. But if these don't, oh, that's a fair point. Do these need the model controller? Nope. Nope, so I think we're good to remove it. Yeah, it's not bindable, so there's nothing in the UI that would have it. Looking for model here. Where did that? Where did that go to? And build. See where it breaks. and fix where it breaks. That. That, and then we can get rid of this, and then we want to actually get rid of this and change this to editor model. And we go here and we want model. So don't want that there. Actually, we do still want that to be dynamic. So now I want this to be model.image content, .image description. Probably. No, we don't need to change the image because that is on the view model there. So hopefully, when I build and run, nothing has broken. But we will see. Oh, won't compile. Because that needs to be Objective C. Just realised I was muted. So what I'm going to do is go and see if I can get rotation done by the end of the stream, but first I need to go and make myself a fresh drink because I am currently out. So I will see you all in a few minutes. Okay, so I am back. So let's get back into getting rotation working in Coppice. So what we need to do is let's copy our code here, paste it in. Right, so what do we want to do here? Because I've rotate by radians, but don't really. Image that. So you could rotate by over 2 radians. So the thing that we actually want to change is this value here. That is what we want to pass in. So rotate by rotate by quarter. Because then, if quarter divides by 2, we can work out what actual size we want. So, if I let new size equal quarter modulo 2 equals 0. When it's 0, it's even, therefore it is actually we want this to be on NS image, don't we? I have an image plus M3 extension. Multifunc. Rotate by quarter. We're going to get our image. We're going to get color space. Get rid of these, because while they are useful for testing, you want to avoid fulsome wraps where possible when you're shipping code. So that returns nil. New size is that. Size is either left size or PG size. That's the height. So the context, I believe we want to keep width and the height. But here we can actually change these to new size. Dot width. Because then it should. No, actually, if we're always doing it. Now let's keep it as that height. Only ever going to be positive and negative. No, let's change this. We're only ever going to rotate by 90 degrees, so enum rotation direction. Case left, case right. Median float, switch self. Then if we're going left, we want I.2, but want minus pi over 2. Right. Rotate 90 degrees in action station. That's great. That. We don't need this stuff here because we're just swapping the height and the width. We'll get the rest of the new size stuff. And then you rotate by direction dot radians. That gets us our new CG image. So let's add else turn. Get that way. Now, does this return an optional? It does. An image. PG image. +0. That should all be the right size. So rotate 90 degrees direction. That's the editor. We want the view model. If let rotated image equals self.image content dot image equal dot rotate 90 degrees left self.image content dot image equals rotated image, and then do the same for rotate right. If you do that, if you use the actual image property on here, it protects us a bit more in case that changes, but also we get this register start of editing, which I believe should... Yep. Start, undo, working. So, let's give this a go. If can that be declared? Oh. Public enum. Pi. Pi. Why are you complaining about argument? Actually took what? Wanting to have happen. Let's have a look at Swift format. What it is. Let's have a look here. The actual failure. Wrap arguments. Add map action. I see that now. More. Okay, let's undo that. See what Swift format actually do. To fix. Yeah, build phases, run script. Setting up as lenient. That caused it to fail. Swift format. Help. Addresses errors for unformatted code in Lint mode. So what is the compiler error that's showing up then? What happens with that then? But you're running as lenient, so why? Let's try just changing it. Rather than lenient, that seems nope, that again causes failed. Exited. That. Yeah. One gone here. Format can be more trouble than it's worth. Format. Build. Why are you fine? Oh. Now let's... Right. You have to... Oh, that doesn't make a difference. Okay. Runs for format there. Those files are apparently formatted, so if I then... Okay, I have no idea what it has changed there, but apparently it now works. Okay. Well, that was weird. Anyway. That's... What I want is an image. It's fairly long, so let's take a screenshot of that. That's a new page. Paste in. Okay. So that did not work. Unsupported parameter combinations. 8 bits component, integer, RGB color space. Also 2 bits. Bits per component. Skip first, skip last, pre-multiply first, pre-multiply last. Okay, why? That not... Ah, that's... Let's do some debugging. PO CG image dot is for component 8 bytes per row 2000 bitmap info 3 me. Fairly sure. Oh, got color space. How's it an unsupported parameter space? Combination. The context anywhere. No. Let's see what the internet shows up. Let's just leave that as 0 now and see what that does. Might be the bit map info that is messing us over. That. Okay, so that works. That doesn't. So the question is, go and pack package contents. Format. Okay, so that's a PNG. So why does this one work? It doesn't fully work because it's not rotating correctly, but so 8 bits per component. 112 bytes per row. Color space is sRGB. UI graphics beginning content. I set this CG image dot 3 multiplied line. Oh. Not going to break anything. Oh. Okay. This does not working out correctly because when I rotate left, I get that happening, which is not what we want. When I rotate right, we get that happening, which is also not what we want. Well, at least it is working now, so... What's other to do? Try image off first. That fails. Apply alpha. Look in our take a screenshot. Okay. Add that here. Let's rename this to what do I want to rename it to? Image. Only a playground, we don't particularly care. Image.png. Alright, so that complains there, but we're going to swap that to 5 and it should just work. Okay. Just change that to pi 2. Size.width. Size.height. Oh, width, and that needs to be height. That's where we're going wrong. Image. Okay, do we need this to be size? Need to be int. Because why on earth do we have? Okay, so that okay. Oh, CG image width, CG image height. We've rotated it. That rotates that, but the context is wrong. So bytes per row. Bytes per row. If we've 8 bits per component, dot width. This should be bytes per row times width. the image.bytes per row. Oop, as the background crashed. Might have done. Yeah, it's crashed. Xcode yet again, messing things up. And I like Xcode, I think it's a fantastic tool. It's just so buggy at times. Yeah, let's quit code. And relaunch Xcode. So 542 times 8 is 4, 2168. So times 4. Oh yeah, it's bytes per row, isn't it? So what we want to do is get bytes per pixel, which is cg image.bytes per row divided by cg image.width. Once we have that, then we can swap that to height, width, and then cg image bytes per row is going to be cg image.height times byte per pixel, which should hopefully now create the context. And then some progress. So I know why that is going wrong, because we want the CG image dot height see the CG float CG image dot width. Yes, Sumo. Trying to rotate an image. So what we're basically implementing is the image rotation and trying to get it rotating. Now, I know there are ways of doing this in pure AppKit, but I wanted to use CG context because it just makes it didn't mean to do that. Makes it a bit easier to move between platforms. But I'm not sure what I am doing wrong here. So let's draw the CG image. Side. The thing is, it's centering it correctly. Oh! Maybe we need to do that. Nope. Very nope. Oh. 1 second. There's not a way. CI image. Well, So if we use CI image, hold it in. And then I presume what you would do is the transformed by API. Let me change the settings because it doesn't let you post links, and I think that's what you're trying to post. And add setting, filters. Oh, I wonder if I have to... Can I see it here? Nope, it's not letting me... Yeah, orientation, I would assume... Yeah, oriented for EXIF orientation, just make sure that it is put the correct way. Transformed will actually return a new CI image that has transformed it. So I suppose that is that's certainly an option. The thing that I need to remember how to do... Have I used CI image? I'm sure I've used CI image before, but I can't remember whether this was in Coppice or somewhere else. No, so I'm not using it in Coppice, so it's another code that I cannot look at right now. But yeah, I think maybe CI image, because that is on iOS, and that would do it on the GPU then. Not that it makes a big difference, but it certainly should be easier to do. And then from a CI image, what can you get out of a CI image? I mean, I could draw it into a new NS image. Oh, you can get a CG image out. Oh, access the original content. No. But I assume I could draw it into a new NS image, so let's give that a go then. Thanks for the suggestions. So if we import core image, so we've got our image. You can create it from a CI image. There is no NS image version, so we've got a CI image, CG image. CI image equals right, give me 1 second. I am going to, because I had set up the stream to block links, and that I thought there was a way to let you allow certain people to post links, block hyperlinks. Right, you should be able to post a link now. That's what you were trying to do. They're just showing up as 3 stars. No, it's not allowing it. I've turned it off. Do I need to save that? Or maybe it won't apply until next time I do a chat. Hey. The wonders of trying to learn how to use Twitch. Do it live. Learn live. Okay, but I think I know what I'm doing with CI image, because if I do a CI image here, I already have the CG image from here. That works a bit better. There we go. Hacking the system. CI context create CG image from. Okay, I'll give that a go. It's not your fault. I set it up thinking, oh, that's useful, I'll put it on, but I've seen people where someone tries to post a link and it gets blocked, but then they allow it. I think that they're maybe not using Twitch's thing and they're using a bot or something to do that, so I will have to look into that. But okay, CI image from a CG image, so we go NS image to CG image to CI image. CI image dot. Let's delete all this stuff here. And let's see. Can we get a preview of a CI image? Because we can do CG and. Yes, we can. Okay, this is going to be good. Let rotated image equals CI image. Nope. CI image dot transformed by CGFI transform rotation angle. I'm going to assume that it is radians. Oh yeah. Well, that's at least positive. It's done 180 degrees. Oh. We've got 90 degrees. This is looking a lot more promising, considering I have spent about an hour. You come into the chat room and you just managed to make my life a lot easier, because this code is already much nicer than what I was dealing with. And yeah, so rotated. Oh no, it's CI context dot create CG image. Rotated image from. Can you pass? Let's see what. Let CG image equals. Let's see if I do 0 and whether it's smart like other APIs that do this. Oh. Rotated CG image. Okay, so that didn't work. 1848542. 1848542. 0018485542. Let's see if that. No, that doesn't seem to be working. I wonder if it's the context that's now. No, it's creating it. Okay, that doesn't seem to be working. Let's try the way I was thinking, which is rotated NS image. NS image. Let's see. No, we don't have a CG image. Okay, NS size width 1848542, was it? Yeah. Rotated. rotated NS image dot lock focus and rotated image dot draw in. Oh, this is where I need to remember what we can pass in for this. AI image draw. In fact, let's use the draw at, because we can just use 0. Now, I'm hoping it's the same as NS image, because I think if we use 0 there, source over 1, then we want to do rotated NS image dot unlock focus and rotated NS image here. No, that has not actually worked. So we want erect x0018485542. Why is it unlocking the focus? Increasing, doubling the size. Okay, let's not do that. Let's do the other way of doing this is NS bitmap image rep. Unfortunately, doing it this way does limit it to macOS, but yeah, we can do the same thing when we bring it back to iOS. Oh, you can get the image rec from CI image. Rotated image dot extend. Let's see what that does. Hey! Can we have a look at that? Hey! That worked! Oh yes, of course, because CI image does weird things with the frame, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, that code is a lot cleaner than this code. So, let's throw it in. So, on an NS image, okay, let's give that a try then. Let rotated CG image equals CI context dot create image rotated image from rotated image dot extent, and then we can do let rotated NS image equals this image CG image dot 0, because that will then give us where has our optional type CG? Oh, if let that, then that. There we go. So, delete all this. Let CG image. Actually, God let CG image equals image.cg. Wait. No, that's on CI image. CG image for prosret. Nil, nil, nil. Else. Turn nil. Let CI image equals CG image. Nope. CI image. CG. CG. Let rotated image equals rotated CI image. CI image got transformed by CG. I found transform. And then what direction? Radians. So that rotated CG image equals context. Create CG image from rotated CI image. I'm trying to think where else I've used CI image before, because I remember extent now and I had to use that somewhere and I cannot remember where. Might have been in some contract work, I don't know. But a lot of the time I don't really think about like core image or core video yet. I almost forget they're there. Rotated CG image dot 0. So let's give this a try. Oh, what we're complaining about now. Oh, we want self. Okay, so it scales it, but I'd assume, let me just check something. Over to here. Yeah, so this one isn't scaling. But for example, that one isn't scaling. But this one probably will. Yes. Because if I bring up this, that is a screenshot, which I would assume that is 144 pixels. So what is, I guess 72 pixels per inch. Yeah. So we need to correct the DPI. But I would assume for that, what we need to do is we get the CG image and then probably create a bitmap rep with the bitmap image rep. Where are we? Can't remember how we actually add back in now. Oh no, it's about in its CI context that we need. Context option. Not remember where that is set on the image. True, yeah. If that image equals that, image dot size, it is equals self dot size. So the new image is equal to there. Oh, yeah. Don't want that. CG size width. F.size height. F.size width. Okay. So that's correct. That's a fairly big image. Let's just take a screenshot. Replace that. And okay, that's worked, but the key thing is if we save that, close it, and then open it. No. So that loses it. So it saves it for then, but we've lost things. So we actually need put it in, but I cannot remember where is it. Has to be in this image wrap and this bitmap image wrap. And of course, Xcode has decided to lose all of the syntax highlighting because, of course, Xcode has. And then it's lost all documentation. This is why I almost never rely on Xcode for documentation, because it fails so often. Hmm. This is... I'm sure I've seen somewhere, but life of me. Yeah. Bitmap. Yeah, so setting it on... Okay, let's give that a go. Sessions.first. If not, there is something else we can potentially try. Right, so take another screenshot. Then... That's really small. That's a bit better. Okay, so that doesn't work. Let's try. So we do that. Let's see if this will work. It probably won't, but it's do that. Right. Yeah, do that now. We'll see if a TIFF representation will actually store it, because TIFF should be storing the DPI. So get that, paste it in. Okay, so that isn't working. Nope. Failed. let's just have a quick look. Return final image. Set breakpoint there. Build and run this, and let's do some inspecting of our image representations, because the information has to be in there somewhere. It cannot be impossible for AppKit to let you save something out. So if I go there, so we can look image dot size, final image dot size. Okay, so the TIFF representation is not helpful at all. Image dot representation. If I do self.representations, so that's the same. Bytes per pixel, bytes per sample is 8. Oh, interesting. So it is doubling it in size by the looks of it. Because it's setting the width and height to 750, 568, which is, this is our base one, that is swapped around for the pixels. But the thing is, down here, it's doubling that, when really that should be the drawing rect, and this should be the actual size we want. I wonder if it's this. So width 750, height 500, and this is one of those interesting problems. Is extent. Okay. Oh, I bet I know what it's doing. This is a retina display. What's the betting that the CI image is set at that pixels? The drawing rect, when we create the CI context, maybe that is creating it at twice the size to do a 2x thing. So that is why Right, well, I am going to have to head off because it is getting to 5 PM. So, I want to thank you all for watching today. One second, you can try creating an NS bitmap image rep by hand, given the CG image, then set size on the rep, then add image rep to an empty NS image. Yes, that is definitely something. Let's give that a quick try before I go. Oh, don't apologise. It's great having people in chat who are wanting to discuss. Otherwise, this is just me narrating what I'm doing and puzzling about it and probably being stuck here all the time. So you've already helped get things along. So, yeah, so we've got the rotated image there, so let bitmap rep equals NS bitmap image rep with CG image. Bitmap rep dot size equals size width stuff dot size dot height stuff dot size dot width, and then it's NS image. Oh yeah, let final image equal of this rotated size equal that size image edit size final image to add representation bitmap rep turn final image. Let's see what that does. But yeah, it's don't worry about chatting. This is something that I want to do where people can come in here and either comment on things, and maybe if they're wondering why I'm doing things a certain way, ask about them, ask how I do certain things in the app, or just chat. So never be afraid to post things in chat. Right, let's give this a final go. Okay, that is promising. Save it. Close. Reopen. There we go. That fixed it. So also don't apologise for being noisy when you make my code simpler and make things work. So, but yeah, I think with that, let's just make sure, yeah, it rotates to the left and to the right. Fantastic. Now there's still a lot more to do on the rotation, because when we get the cropping and the hotspots in, we're going to have to rotate them around, but those are going to be things where we're not changing the actual image data, so that is more just rotating rectangles and points and stuff around, which is a load of fun geometry, but hopefully we can use some transforms and stuff for that. It will be good exercise getting my remembering how to do maths, because I've forgotten most of it, which should be fun. But I mean, this is why building an app like Coppice, because it lets me do things that I wouldn't normally do. I mean, something like image rotation I believe I've done before, but stuff like if I was to draw a rectangle on here and rotate it to the right, remembering how to do that is something interesting. So yes, so I think this has been a very productive stream. I think the experiment, at least in terms of the streams making me more productive, has helped. Being able to talk to you all while I'm working seems to help focus my mind a lot more and eliminate any of the brain fog that I've been feeling, and really help motivate me. So thank you all for watching. I hope you have all enjoyed this. and hopefully you will all come again. The next stream is going to be on Friday, same time, 2 p.m. UK time, 9 a.m. Eastern time in the US. And yeah, we'll be continuing from here. Don't worry about missing the first 2 hours, Zuma. It's all up on VODs if you want to have a watch of what you missed. Once this is finished, it should be there to rewatch. So yes, thank you all for coming, and hopefully I will see you again on Friday, where we will probably be looking at cropping, which will be fun because that's going to require building a lot of custom UI. So thank you and see you next time.